Good morning. It is Monday, July 15th, 2013 in Sarasota, Florida. And I'm going to talk a little bit today about how my curse, the whole issue about my curse piggybacking on my vision. As some of you may know, and for those who don't, 2 weeks ago I had what will be forever a hugely profound phone conversation with a new friend of mine who lives out in Seattle and who's been serving not only as a friend and an amazing guiding light, as somebody who's very strongly rooted in what I reference as the new game. So she's living her life in a way that I'm trying to get to, living her truth and living it guided and rooted in her heart and in this new paradigm. So she's been serving not only as a friend and an example, but she's an amazing life coach. And 2.5 weeks ago, I reached out to her after a very uncomfortable week of just, sharing some of my blog posts. Like, something didn't feel right. Something didn't feel right. That energy that I've tried to explain that I'm looking for in everything that gets posted to my website or to my YouTube channel, there's a bare minimum, I told you, of this truth energy. It's got to be real, it's got to be genuine, it's got to be truth. If I watch something and if any part of it comes across as just, I don't know, not real. It really does. And I knew that there were parts of me I wasn't fully trusting my vision. I could feel it, but I really couldn't name it until 2 weeks ago when I spoke with Sadie, and she very clearly and succinctly stated, your curse, those old voices, those voices from your old story are they're piggybacking, they're hijacking your gift, your vision. Because your wound, it's still coming through. The curse being the old voices or the voices from my old story, it's revealing the wound. Well, I'm not kidding you when I say, quite literally just about 15 minutes ago, it sort of hit me for the first time. That was intentional. I mean, it really wasn't intentional. But now I look at it and I'm like, now I look back in retrospect and where I'm at now 2 weeks later and trying to gauge where I'm going this next week. Because the other thing I have not yet even begun to explain is how this operating of a business in this new paradigm, at least what I'm experiencing for myself, and it's the most efficient manner of achieving something that I've ever experienced. It's unbelievable, this lack of planning. Okay? Now, I know how terrifying that sounds to people rooted in the old paradigm, and I ran a business. Now, I'll share stories on this, but I ran a business when I was 17. I mean, I had a very, very real world example of running a business in this old paradigm. Yes, it was small, but I was 17 years old running a business. And I have a marketing degree. I know how business operates in the old paradigm. But what I've not even, like I said, begun to share is how I feel or how I believe the most powerful way a business can operate in the new paradigm. And part of that is, yes, obviously I've got this grand vision and I've got all these components that I'm just now beginning to lay out, just now beginning to really get out of my head in more than conversations with one person here and there. And that's the way that it was kind of coming out of me for the past few years. And in some way, my whole life, right? So now I'm finally beginning to get this vision out of my head. And this vision of world peace is very, very real. I definitely, with every part of me, believe in exactly what I stated, that it is achievable. World peace on this planet is achievable in 1 year's time. And in my head, it's like a gigantic chessboard. I am so far. Well, world peace is the end of the game, right? I mean, if I'm gonna make this analogy to a game, then the achievement of the world peace would be the end of the game. And let me also say, listen, this is gonna be my life's work. And you might say, well, so what are you talking about? If you achieve it in a year, then you're done working? No, hello, I could never be done working. Like, I love doing things out in the world with others, quote unquote, working and making this world a better place. I'm going to do that till the day I leave this life. So I'm not in any rush to achieve this. I certainly don't need to achieve it for any sort of validation for myself. I told you, the only dream that's left for me in my life to make, I can die as soon as I fall in love for the first time as an adult. And that's coming. That's coming. I will be falling in love. That is the only dream of mine that I have any interest in. That's the only thing I would like to still do before I leave this life, whenever that is meant to happen. As for everything else, are you kidding me? As soon as what I also realized is, oh my God, this is going to be the hardest my life will ever be again. And I am dead serious about that. Like, this will be the hardest time. Just getting myself to sustain myself. And I have got a whole new energy of trust and belief that has come as a result, very much so, as a result to this conversation I had with Sadie, pointing out how this energy of the curse was still present. And to get back to that, it needed to be present because that is an enormous part of why I believe world peace is achievable and why it's going to be able to be done in 1 year, is because what I am trying to point out, and not just to people that know me and people in my family, what I am indeed trying to share is that you have no idea how powerful somebody can be with just a little bit, I'm going to say with just one person in their corner who believes in them in a way that nobody else has ever believed in them. And when you are in survival mode in one way or another, for as long as I was, and for as long and as much as millions and millions of people in our country are in that mode, when you don't understand. And again, it can be an actual sort of physical survival mode, which in our country, in other countries, it might mean literal physical survival, like surviving bombings in their neighborhoods and things like that. In our country, the physical part is more of our basic needs, right? The stress of food and shelter, food and shelter. That's sort of the basic survival that, again, way more people are experiencing that than should be acceptable in our country. And I'll go off on that later, but that's being felt and experienced by millions in our country right now. And then, if you take into consideration a part of us that we don't examine, we don't acknowledge, our emotional struggles. We don't give any credit for people who do the emotional work, really, the emotional work of healing. It is the hardest work there is. And that's coming from somebody who has done very high level things intellectually and physically. So I'm telling you, the emotional work, and people that either through choice or because their life makes them face it, people that have done the emotional work and are doing the emotional work to make peace with themselves and truly try to create something better for themselves. Many of those people, I dare say, have not had that, well, I'm going to say the people that have not had at least one person, just one person in their corner who has really been able to understand them, see them, and really be able to unconditionally support them. That's how I describe me. I've never had one person in my corner who truly, well, I would say I had maybe two men, and one, he was a boy. We were the same age. One guy when we were young, but we have not been close for, we talk every few months, but we have not been close in a long, long time. So I can't say with either of these people. One was a boy my own age, and one was a very influential man in my life in high school. Those are the only two that have ever. And see, they saw what was in me before I could see what was in me. I didn't know, I couldn't see exactly what they saw. I just really liked the opportunity, in particular, the opportunity that the man in my life gave to me. He allowed me to do things in terms of running a business and coaching a team that nobody would ever really allow or think a teenager could do these things. And I will share those stories. So all I knew was I was getting the chance to be more of me and do all that I was capable of doing, which was a lot more than, most other teenagers my age. That was all I knew. I wasn't consciously aware of. Now when I look back, now I understand what was going on so much better. And I will share those stories. But short those people, ever since I've been an adult, ever since I've, been conscious of myself, no one's been able to really, and it's okay, this is okay. It's been the best training in the world, because now I can speak to the amazingly challenging thing of being your own validator, to other adults like me who perhaps as children, because their homes were also in survival mode like mine, didn't get that extra sort of thing that you get in solid homes, in loving two-parent, whatever the parent, two moms, two dads, a mom and a dad. Kids just need attention, and they need unconditional love. And yes, that doesn't mean, it means discipline, love, what they just need that. And it's a very hard thing for parents to give if they're just surviving. So when I say I will be able to show you, it is going to be through. You will be shocked. You will be shocked at what a very, very small, quote unquote, investment. And this is not necessarily just money or money at all. What a very small investment into others who have anywhere near the amount of wounding in their heart that I had. Because when you hurt that badly, I can't tell you how low the bar had been set, how little I need to make me soar. Because I never even got hugs from my parents. When we went through this period, it was hardcore survival. And because of that, then all the natural teenage things that happen, the mother-daughter things that happen, it just was all exacerbated. And the simplest things, like being held, like being hugged, like being told, I love you, no matter what. When you don't have those, that was all I ever wanted. And it's okay, because it's taken me this long to find my way back to that greater love that's beyond us, that can always give us that comfort and that solace. But I just don't believe we are meant to ball up and to go through so much of this self-discovery and growth individually. I just think it's silly. I really, really do. And it's a waste. It's a waste of so much potential. So the wounds, they needed to be revealed. It's okay. It's just me looking back and saying, no, you're right, I'm going to leave them. Yeah, it's personal. Yeah, it might make some people uncomfortable for whatever reason to watch somebody talk about such things so personally, to talk about her family in that way. But it's real. The pain, and nobody in my life understands how dark that pain is. You're going to understand it when you see my full light. And I am just beginning to come into my full light. And if my life is an extreme example of, okay, but wait until you see what people who have never been given a shot, what people who have never had anybody believe in them, what people who have only been told what pieces of garbage they are, how lazy they are, how they'll never amount to anything. You are not going to believe what those people will be able to spread and do in terms of love and positivity with one person behind them who truly, truly believes in them. And that one person, at a minimum, that one person will be me. These women I've met in the jail, I'm not all the different people I've been meeting my whole life, but certainly now that I am so much more conscious with amazingly profound, powerful stories that are not even anywhere near being able to live their full potential. And it's not because they don't want to. It's because we just don't have the ways, the manners, the whatever the reasons are in our present societal systems. And I'm sorry, that's garbage to me. That doesn't make any sense. I see these people and I see their potential, and you see them working. They want nothing more than to build a better life for themselves. And the amount of energy they're having to take to it's just inefficient. And I am all about efficiency. And specifically, energetic efficiency. So, having this clarity and continuing to gain even more clarity on this very symbiotic relationship between my curse and my vision. And believe me, the curse energy, the voices from the old story, I'm guessing they're going to be pretty much gone here, at least with the kind of convincing, proving energy that was still tied to it 2 weeks ago. I definitely may still come across to others like I'm trying to convince or prove, but it's not with the same energy. It's not with the same energy at all, because I don't have anything to prove to anybody, and I'm not trying to convince you of anything. But there is a reason why I'm trying to communicate specifically to one particular it's my whole present network, pretty much. My whole present network. There is a very, very big reason why I'm still directing a lot of my communications with that big network in mind. And again, more and more is going to be shared in the upcoming weeks and months. And now, as I move into truly having 100% trust and belief in everything, there is, that's why I told you, fake it till you make it. You think you're there, and you got to keep going, and then something clicks in. It's like what I said, what clicked in on May 29th. When I clicked in fully on May 29th, I knew it, and within a week, my website traffic proved it to me. I knew it. I knew everything had shifted. And within a week, and I have had the best 6 weeks since that time of my company's history thus far. So there is no reason for me to fear or for me to worry. And I thought I had made peace with those two emotions. And, and again, it's not that they'll ever be gone completely 100%. But now I know with every part of me that I just clicked in to it 100%. I am going to be so fine. Because now, I'm telling you, it just keeps getting clearer. So, thanks for listening. Have a great day. And we'll talk to you.